today's video, I'll explain why I think the Fed is about to make XRP owners very rich. It's common knowledge that stocks do well when the money supply goes up, and I think this is very likely to happen very soon. Though there's a lot of other crazy stuff happening like trade wars, it's true that both real and fake news are more prevalent now than in the past. The news sources, or at least those that some consider legitimate, are publishing stories that later turn out to be false and are corrected within hours. It's absolutely insane. Moreover, Trump and the trade war with China will discuss this and many other related topics. Lastly, we will cover the Federal Reserve and I'd like to speak about the ongoing political conflict between Trump and the Federal Reserve, as well as what's likely to happen in the near future. To start, I'll play a statement that Trump made yesterday. After that, we'll discuss recent events in China. Trump claims that the two countries speak daily, which makes sense given the steep taxes that will impact China's economy. Substantial impact on all fronts. There will always be someone impacted by rates of duty, and that impact will never be fair to just one individual. This trade war is getting out of hand, but China has responded to Trump's assertion that the U.S. is talking to them by saying that they will keep taxing the U.S. if the U.S. keeps backing down from its threats. Every day, China claims that trade conversations between the U.S. and China have not taken place. I don't trust this kind of news anymore. Trump isn't communicating directly with China. Chinese officials could be lying, or his staff could be correct. This is a major political issue at the moment, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. Okay, I get it. Sometimes people make up stories about things that aren't happening. This happens all the time. I don't understand what's going on here, basically. I don't think Trump and his team have any reason to avoid communicating with China unless they're determined to keep tariffs in place. In that case, it could be a tactic. Well, we tried to talk to China, but they didn't want to do anything, so we're going to keep the taxes in place, even though they haven't said anything, is the right way to put it, even though they aren't really after that. China appears to be shifting gears. It now claims the United States is pressuring it, and it's fascinating that the U.S. is unwilling to negotiate or engage in dialogue with China. What this means is that these taxes will remain in place for some time, perhaps even a few years if China is being truthful. This will undoubtedly impact global trade in a significant way, as China will likely expand its business relationships with other countries in order to take advantage of this situation, create goods that other nations desire. The only remaining question is which nations will opt to do business with China more frequently. This whole situation is fascinating, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. Meanwhile, Trump is bringing up the possibility of a 25% increase in taxes on Canada while he is discussing this with China. While the 25% tariff on Canada is certainly nothing compared to, we'll have to see how this plays out, but it's already causing a lot of market anxiety with the 45% and 100% tariffs on China. And now he's suggesting that they could go even higher. I don't know what he's planning here. After Canada fights back, he might target a specific Canadian company. Okay, we're still trying to talk about it, but we're going to raise some tariffs on some people. This comes after Monday, when it seemed like trade talks were going incredibly well. In contrast to his Monday statement, this is a completely new message. Finally, President Trump has made it quite clear that he does not intend to alter the current tax policies for automobiles and auto components. Fabricated news report. There was a legitimate source for this, which I mentioned yesterday in my post. An established news organization that has been in operation for over 20 years reported that Trump might reduce tariffs on auto parts. However, Trump has now stated that he will not do so. This reminds me of something that occurred earlier this month when Trump also lowered taxes. It's quite peculiar. There's no way to know for sure, but there's always so much fake news floating around. Apologies, but it's becoming increasingly difficult to distinguish between real and fake news these days. It's almost like someone in the news group is spilling beans that Trump doesn't want the public to know. Point where certainty is impossible to attain. as even Trump is capable of making false statements in order to alter his stance. This has happened multiple times so far, and it's all because he doesn't want other countries to know crucial specifics about his plan. It's a chaotic moment, to be sure, but I think we'll find out what happens in about a week, just like we did with the last phony. The news broke, and Trump then revised his stance multiple times. Public companies are reportedly purchasing a significant amount of Bitcoin, according to Fidelity and other major companies. This is leading many to believe that the amount of Bitcoin available on exchanges is decreasing, which is counter to popular expectations. Crucial one, since its popularity is driving down supply. I predict that the XRP supply shock will hit full force in Q3 or Q4 2025, just before the year ends, due to the impending release of XRP ETFs and the increasing number of public companies purchasing cryptocurrencies. In the next months, there will be a tremendous launch of the Hidden Road Alliance. The stock of XRP is likely to experience a shock, leading to a significant increase in price. This shock will occur during a period of abundant supply, which is explained by the Federal Reserve. Before I delve into why this is the case, I want to play you this clip to provide some important background on the current situation with the Fed and what you can. The political climate is very insane at the moment. As of 2020, 10 economists identify as Democrats. The vast majority of the Federal Reserve workers' contributions to the election went to Democratic politicians, and now we have this silly rate decrease that has nothing to do with the economy and was intended to benefit Kayla Harris at the expense of other legitimate reasons for lower rates, such as reduced inflation as it pertains to trade negotiations. President Trump is correct in pointing out that Jay Powell appears content to do nothing but wait for things to resolve themselves. In reality, Powell is capable of doing a great deal. I hope that Jerome Powell would make the correct decision, but considering the facts, he should cut interest rates to aid our economy, just like his European, Canadian, and English counterparts. At this crucial juncture, many, including myself, believe that it would be unwise to remove Powell from office at this time due to the market's instability. There has also been discussion about a shadow Fed chair. Would you be okay with that? I would be honored if the president considered me for that position. I have been closely following Fed policy for the last decade. President Trump is currently meeting with Walmart, Home Depot, and Target executives. He also regularly meets with farmers and unemployed retirees. Meanwhile, Federal Reserve Chair Jay Powell is taking it easy and listening to the opinions of 400 PhD economists on climate change and racial injustice. For the American people, and put our energy into fixing the actual economy, I think the Federal Reserve is unnecessary and should be abolished altogether. I think this really depicts what's happening between Trump and the Fed right now, but that's just my view. Please let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree.